We have breaking NFL news on this Friday, and this is legitimately huge news. The Bears, they are trading their #1 overall pick in this year's draft for the #1 overall pick in exchange for a lot of things. This does not necessarily do it justice. Rappaport says the Bears trading the #1 overall pick to the Panthers in exchange for big-time compensation. Bring us on camera. Let me tell you all the compensation. Bring us on camera. Bring us on camera. Bring us on camera. Okay, what are the Bears getting in exchange for the first-round pick from the Panthers? They're getting the Panthers' 9th overall pick, just swapping first-rounders. They're getting the 61st overall pick. Think the bottom of the second round. They're getting a first-round pick in 2024, so an additional first-round pick. They're getting a second-round pick in 2025, so an additional second-round pick. Plus, they're getting D.J. Moore from the Carolina Panthers, a bona fide #1 receiver. When I think about this, first and foremost, I'm like, okay, Justin Fields, shout out to you. They are removing the excuses from you. You now have Chase Claypool, you got Darnell Mooney, a speedster, but more importantly, you got D.J. Moore. Why do I like this? Because people are best when they are playing the roles they're supposed to play. Chase Claypool's not a #1 receiver, but he's a good #2 receiver.
Yes, yeah, right.
Darnell Mooney, I don't like him as a #1 or #2 receiver. I classify him as a speedster. He has the talent in my mind to be a #2, but more than anything, if you can put him in a slot and just let him take the tops off of defenses, let him run safeties off in cover 4, let him mistress the Mike backer running through the middle of the zone in cover 2, Darnell Mooney now has the ability to thrive because DJ Moore is a legitimized #1 receiver. The Bears had one of the best rushing offenses we've seen in the history of the National Football League.
True.
So now, you got Justin Fields, retain David Montgomery. You got Mooney at #3. You got Claypool at #2. You got DJ Moore at #1. And you did all of that just by getting rid of the #1 overall pick. I love this first and foremost for Justin Fields. My initial reaction, Shady, what's yours?
My thing is, well, who are the Panthers going to get then? You did all that. Who are you going to get?
Got to be, it's Bryce or CJ in my mind.
Yep.
Probably Bryce.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I love it. I love it for the Bears, though, just because, I mean, Justin Fields, who's a quarterback who shows a lot of talent, right, with his legs. It's time the same with his arm. I think if he develops better, now he has some legit, playmakers around him now. You give him a #1 receiver with DJ Moore, we can see what he really can do. And that would be like the true testament if he's really legit quarterback as a complete runner and thrower, or he's just a runner. So this is good for him. They're giving him some more help, and I like to see what happens.
Shout out to Ryan Poles. I love this move.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I love it. I actually love it for both teams, but let's talk about Chicago for a second. First of all, everything you just said. Now you can really find out what Justin Fields is. DJ Moore is ain't nobody questioning what he's capable of doing.
Right.
So you have a guy now. You got a legit wide receiving core. Everyone can play their role perfectly. We know you can run. So if you can't throw the ball to this group of men, then we have bigger worries. We have something else to move on to. You have a bunch of picks. So here's what I'm thinking. This is why I love this, and this is why I was begging for the Bears to do this and not just redraft another quarterback and put him in the same situation Justin Fields was in. If it doesn't work with Justin Fields, you have a #1 pick, an additional first-round pick in 2024. And you got that second in 2025. So if you're in a bad situation at the end of this season, Justin Fields isn't the guy, use the draft capital that you got in the coming years to trade up and get someone new next year. This is brilliant. You can invest in your young quarterback, see if he can be the passer he was in college because you've given him legitimate pieces. You can continue to draft and build around him with the additional pick in the 61st pick, and you have the 9th pick, so you're still going to get a great player there. This is brilliant. I love it.
Yeah, I'm struggling to see the benefits on the Carolina side of things as much as I can see them with Chicago and it's the DJ Moore piece because presumably you're moving up to #1 to get a new quarterback, to get a young quarterback, and now you're taking away the #1 receiver from that young quarterback. And as I said, I'm kind of out on the Frank Reich stock. So this idea that I'm going to take away the #1 receiver and I'm going to bring in a brand new quarterback, and now I'm going to have Frank Reich develop him. For Chicago, I mean, if you compare it to the Trey Lance trade that the 49ers made, you could say, well, it's not that outrageous in terms of what they gave up. But if you ask the 49ers, would they do that over again? Did they get their money's worth out of that trade? They would say no. So that's where I look at it, and I just feel as if this feels like a desperate big move by Carolina.
It is a desperate move, but if you're Carolina, what other choice do you have? We just had him on the board talking about how they should go after Lamar Jackson. Now you don't have to pay Lamar Jackson $250 million guaranteed. You have Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud, who will likely go one, so you have a young quarterback. I don't think they wanted to give up DJ Moore in this trade, but if you want to get the number 1 overall pick, all right, we're Chicago.
You got to give us. You got to do what you got to do. Here's my thing, though.
Find him in the draft.
I love it for the Panthers as well. Reason I love it for the Panthers is, remember what the Niners had to do to give up Trey. Not only did they swap first, they had to give up 2 additional firsts.
Oh, yeah.
The Panthers gave up a first and DJ Moore. Now, DJ Moore is a former first, if I'm not mistaken. But keep in mind, DJ Moore going into year 3. Yeah. That 5th-year option going to have to get picked up real soon. Also, keep in mind, owners and coaches don't forget, what did DJ Moore do this previous season that cost the Carolina Panthers a game? After he caught that incredible walk-off touchdown, he threw his helmet off. Yeah. So, and when I think about, DJ Moore going into year 6, when I think about what the Carolina Panthers have now done, they're retaining the ability to go draft the quarterback that they want. If Bryce Young, who I think will probably go at number 1, if Bryce Young can be that quarterback who the Panthers think he can be, you got to do what you got to do to get him. Remember what Washington did to get RG3. Remember what the Eagles did to get Carson Wentz. Remember what the Rams did to get Jared Goff. Remember what the Niners just did to get Trey Lance. You got to do what you got to do.
But what did you just say when this news first hit? And we said, so who are they going after? You said Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. Like, there's a question of who should you be going after? Who is there an undisputed number 1 quarterback that you are going after in this draft? Do you look at either one or both of those guys as a can't-miss pick to be your next quarterback?
I think Bryce Young. I think all things considered. Now, you can't – the only knock on Bryce Young, for those that haven't kept up with football, it's college football. It's size and it's injury. Yep. That's it. But anybody can get hurt. How many 6'2", 6'3" quarterbacks we've seen get hurt? Right. Plenty of them. How many 6'1" running backs I've seen get hurt? How many 6'4" running backs I've seen get hurt? How many 5'10" running backs I've seen be healthy? So the only knock on Bryce Young is, will he stay healthy or not? But in my mind, if you win a Heisman in the SEC, come on, bro.
But also from Carolina's perspective, why not? You're going to sit at 9 and wait and see if whoever's left is Will Levis or Anthony Richardson, and we don't know what they are going to be. At least we feel confident that C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young are going to have nice careers in the NFL at the bottom of what they're capable of doing. So then you're really taking a risk. You can take a big swing here. Now you give him a couple years to develop. You continue to build the team around him. You got to take chances in the NFL, and particularly in that division. Like, that's a winnable division.
And it's a cost-effective chance.
Correct.
Lamar Jackson is a very, very, very expensive chance. Bryce Young, you got 5 years of him for the cheap.
Yeah, and I think, like, their defense is really, really strong. Mm-hmm. So now you could take free agency, draft picks to build for the quarterback. So that, I guess it works on both sides. I like Bryce Young. He's probably my favorite quarterback, just watching football. But then when I met him at the Super Bowl, I was surprised how small he was. I'm like, oh, dang, he's tiny. And I think in the NFL, I think a lot of – now, I don't care about that, because I never really lift weights and all that, and I was a beast. And I think he still could be a beast. It's just that I think what scares the owners and NFL coaches is if he does get hit, these 300 pounds lay on him. And these ain't college guys. It's just, oh, I'm just missing you. No, they hitting you, they laying on you. Like, how would he – hold up? Because a guy like Tua is small. And then, every time he gets hurt a lot. I'll just say that.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong about that. We will see. Well, we got to revisit this more when we return, because this news really, it changes up the entire landscape of the rest of the offseason now that we know where that number 1 overall pick will land. More speak when we return. I cannot believe this trade just happened.
Yes.
Yo, that's wild.
The Bears.
That is
the Bears.
Wild.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.